What's up, YouTube? Back at you with another video. We're here with the Bel-Air Season 2, Episode 3 reaction recap. Okay. As always, I'm going to give my thoughts on all the characters and a couple of things that happened in the episode that stood out to me. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, first of all, Will. Alright, so basically the season 2 starts out okay, so basically season 2 starts out with Will, being out on his own and stuff like that. And I guess, Will's whole, long-term objective or goal is for him to, get to the league. And one thing that I don't like about Will is that I think Will doesn't really understand the position that he's in sometimes, and I feel like he kind of gets in over his head. And what's happening is that there's like this, knockoff, Rich Paul, scout or something like that that has, some sort of, interest in him as far as, like his NBA skills and all of that. So Will is trying to link up with him, so that way, this dude, I think his name is Doc, so that way he can advance his career and things like that. And here's the thing, I don't see that playing out well. You feel me? Like, I think this dude, whoever he is, he's going to like lock Will into some kind of contract, and when Will finds out what's really going on, Will is going to be in danger. I honestly think that's what's going to happen, because one of Will's friends that I guess he met out in the streets or some shit, and this is the same guy who played like the nerdy, geeky boyfriend dude from Power Book 2. If y'all watch the show, he was the guy that played Lauren's boyfriend in season 1 of Book 2. And now he's like this thug gangster dude wearing grills. And if you pay attention, there's a scene in I think episode 1 or 2 where that dude and Doc, I think if that's his name, or the NBA scout, guy, whatever, they're whispering to each other while they were looking at Will. So this whole thing, pretty much looks like a setup. And yeah, and the fact that Uncle Phil is kind of already on alert about what's going on, that just, tells me that, again, like, as the season plays out, towards the end, Will is going to be in some kind of trouble. But other than that, I think Jabari Banks, he's always killing it as always. Like, honestly, like, he's one of the young black actors that I actually enjoy watching, on screen. I think he fits right at home with this whole entire setting. And then again, I respect him, and I look forward to seeing what he does in the future. What else? Now, because I didn't do a reaction to episode 1 and 2, I just want to say I didn't understand why Will was upset at his family. You know what I'm saying? Particularly Uncle Phil. I didn't get that. Like, because the thing is, yeah, Lou came back and it didn't go well, and you were mad at them for the fact that they didn't tell you about him. But if you look at how it turned out, can you blame them? So I didn't really get that, but I was happy to see that him and Uncle Phil, they were able to resolve it and squash it. As far as what happened in episode 3, I don't like the fact that what they're doing as far as the protesting is concerned. Like, it almost feels forced, and it kind of feels tokenized. And I think Bel-Air really needs to refocus itself on the characters and not like this whole agenda pushing. And I understand that it's pro-black, and I do think it's necessary, but at the same time, it almost feels, again, like they're doing this to tell people some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say in my videos, that there's always intent behind the content, and there's just something that they're pushing with this, and I'm not really sure what they're doing, but that's just a side note of mine. And the fact that Will is at the head of it, it just seems forced in my opinion. Anyway, Uncle Phil, I don't have too much to say about him, yet, because nothing's happened, as far as he's concerned in season 2. I think there's like there's something that I guess he wants, Geoffrey to like find out about or some shit, behind the scenes, but I don't really remember. But I will say again, Uncle Phil is just, the the pure example of the kind of black dad that you would want, you know what I'm saying? Or at least me, is like, you know, when I become a father, you know, I would want to, you know, replicate or mimic, you know, the way that Uncle Phil deals with, you know, his family and his kids. And I like how he doesn't let the fact that he's, you know, the father or the uncle kind of get in the way of making a connection to, you know, the kids and stuff like that. Because I like how, you know, when him and Will finally they sat down, he was able to apologize and be like, you know what, I messed up. And a lot of parents in this generation, they don't know how to do that. And I think this show, it really highlights the benefit of healthy parenting. You know what I'm saying? Parents will avoid a lot of bullshit, you know, if they were to just, you know, take the time to connect and relate to their children, relate to their family members and stuff like that. Not from a condescending perspective where they're talking down at them, but from a perspective that it's like, I'm trying to connect to you. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Uncle Phil. Nothing really happened with him as of yet, so I can't really say anything. Carlton. Now, I will say, out of all the characters, I like the character development of Carlton up until this point, out of everybody, you know, because in season 1, I hated Carlton. I could not stand Carlton, but now he's really starting to, you know, be himself and kind of come into his own and open up and not be, you know, like he said, like the freaking, you know, Clarence Thomas of freaking Bel-Air, you know, saying like the Uncle Tom. You know, I like that. You know, him and Will, they have a great, you know, friendship now. Carlton is more open with his parents as far as like the issues and the struggles that he, you know, has behind the scenes, like with, you know, maybe drugs and medication and anxiety and stuff like that. And I like that he's more involved with the Black Student Union, and he's using his, you know, intelligence and you know, the skills that he does have, and he applies it to, again, greater causes that they got going on up in Bel-Air. And he finally, you know, is starting to holler at his own girl. Like when he was sitting with the girl in the room, I was like, okay, Carlton. I was like, all right, cool. You know, finally, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, because I think Will tried to set him up, or they tried to set him up with some like other black girl in season 1, and that shit didn't go well. But, you know, again, I like you know, the way that he's cool now, you know what I'm saying? Because Carlton wasn't cool before. He was just like this, you know, like asshole, you know, midget with a bad attitude. And then now he's, you know, a short guy with a good attitude. So you see how that works? I will say, as far as season 2 is concerned, I think the biggest issue with Carlton is really him choosing between like himself and his own accolades and the greater causes, you know, at large. Because the issue is that Mrs. I don't even know her name, but Ashley from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, let's call her that. She gets fired from Bel-Air, and they all want to protest to, you know, get her job back. And Carlton, because he's like, you know, the top student in the school, basically he's risking his future as far as like maybe college is concerned and like eligibility with certain Ivy League schools if he continues with this type of shit. Because I know, you know, there's a lot of politics that's involved in, you know, attending these schools and stuff. So obviously a lot of that hangs in the balance. But again, I think it's cool that Carlton, you know, cares about other people. Like, I understand like being selfish and stuff, and you have to be selfish, but you know, when it comes to, you know, people that you actually have a good relationship with, like people that got your back, I like that. Again, he's thinking about other people, you know, outside of himself. So shout out to Carlton. And I'm glad that he finally let go of Lisa, and he let that go, because that was a whole big issue in season 1. And again, like me, if I was in the show, I would just beat the shit out of Carlton if he kept giving me issues with Lisa. So shout out to Carlton, and the actor who plays Carlton too. You know, I like him. Hilary. You know, Coco Jones, she's really attractive. I like her on this show. I just love watching her on screen. I like watching her talk. I like the way, you know, they They got her looking good all the time. She's just like, you know, strutting in those little dresses. You know, her hair look good. Her skin looks good. She's just very attractive. I mean, it's almost distracting because I don't even really know what's going on with her in season 2. You know, but if I dated Coco Jones in real life, you know, we would make a really good couple. I think me and her, we would, you know, really hit it off if we ever met. You know what I'm saying? Because she's like, I think Coco Jones, she's tall, or she looks tall in heels. So she was probably like between 5'7" and 5'9", and I'm 6'4". So, you know, we would really hit it off if, you know, we ever met in real life. So, but I will say this, the one thing that I do remember her saying in season 1 is the fact that when her and Jazz were going through it, because basically she didn't want to go public with their relationship, and she didn't want to you know, put people all in their business. She wanted to keep their relationship private. And then when Ivy started, you know, pushing up on Jazz, it essentially forced her to be real with herself about how much she actually cared about Jazz. And the one thing that I liked what she said, and I hope a lot of girls are taking notes or took notes in that scene, she was saying that, you know, she was sleeping on a good thing. And a lot of girls, they don't realize that, like, you have a good boyfriend, and like you be sleeping on him. Like you like, a lot of women sleep on good men all the time. Like, they don't acknowledge that you've got a good man in your life that loves you, you know what I'm saying, that cares about you. And I think that was like her best moment up until, you know, this point, you know what I'm saying. I know this was episode 1 or 1 or 2 or some shit like that, but again, you know, I'm covering, you know, what I think is worth note, really, because nothing really happened in episode 3 as far as I'm concerned. So, and I think the biggest problem or dilemma that Hilary is gonna have to deal with is the fact that she's operating in Ivy's shadow a lot, and Ivy be sunning her. Like, Ivy, she like doesn't really listen to Hilary like that, and when she does, she kind of really just brushes her off and tells her that she's gonna talk about it later. So I think they're either gonna have a parting of ways, or Hilary is really gonna have to put her foot down and be like, yo, this is what it is, and this is what we're gonna do, and, you know, it's gonna be my way or the highway, you know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, Hilary really, she needs to learn how to stand up for herself as far as Ivy is concerned, and not let the short chick walk all over her, because freaking Hilary is like 5'9". Ivy is like, what, 5'1" on a good day, maybe 5'2". So it's like, don't let the short girl, you know, tell you what to do, because it should really be the other way around. You're bigger than her, you know. So shout out to Hilary, shout out to Coco Jones. In the off chance that you're watching this, DM me. I'm Vivian. I still don't like her anymore. If you watch some of my recaps from season 1 that I put out last year, the whole Michael Ealy thing, and I don't even remember what this guy's name is, but I haven't forgiven her for that. And I think she's got an issue with him. I do remember her mentioning like some problem that she has with somebody as far as like her art is concerned, and like him trying to do everything for her as if she doesn't have her own voice or something like that. And I think she might have been talking about Michael Ealy. I'm not 100% sure, but I hope his ass stays far away, because I like Uncle Phil and Aunt Vivian as a couple, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, keep his home wrecker ass the fuck out of here as far as I'm concerned. But nothing really happened with her yet, because yeah, this is only episode 3, so things haven't really started to unfold. But as long as, like I said, she's doing right by Uncle Phil, that's all I care about. Lisa, pretty much same thing. You know, she's just very attractive. You know, I love watching them talk. Like, I love just looking at them. Like, she's just, you know, so pleasing to the eye. She's just very beautiful. But basically, yeah, so she wanted to get back with Will and stuff like that. And I understood where Will was coming from, where Will was just like, yo, like, I gotta focus on what I got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in the future, but as of right now, like, I can't really be with you. And that's like a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't like sometimes men, we don't have space for women in our lives at a certain point, and it's best that we focus on ourselves, so when we do have space, it'll be better for us to, you know, go back and deal with them. So that didn't work out because Will's got something going on with another chick. Really, that's honestly the main reason why he's not really rocking with her, is because the other girl, I don't know her name, but you know, he's feeling her instead, and he wants to pursue that. So then now, you know, Lisa, she's dealing with the who is this guy? What is his name? James, Drew, or some shit. Like this random dude. Now he want to start pushing up on Lisa, and this is the same guy that Carlton got into a fight with in the trailer. So I don't like him. He's like a Chad Tyrone, you know, looking dude. Like honestly, like I just don't like him at all. You know what I'm saying? I hope like they write him off the show at some point. Like I hope maybe he like falls and breaks his leg or some shit, and then he's just not in the rest of the season, because a guy like that, just from the way that he was presented to the audience, like, you know, he just looks like he's just gonna cause some shit. He's gonna start some shit, and you know, it's trouble, because now he pushing up on Lisa, and that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I think Lisa, she really needs to get her act together. She needs to stay single, and she needs to stay away from that James Drew looking guy. You know what I'm saying? Whoever he is and stuff like that, and then rock with the real niggas. You know what I'm saying? Not this dude, because he's really just a rebound because she couldn't get with Will. He didn't want to get back with her, so now she's dealing with, you know, him. Because Will still cares about her. Because when Will saw them together, he pulled up and was like, yo, like, oh, so what's up? And then already that James guy, Drew guy, whatever, he, you know, already knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? So I think Will and Lisa, they're gonna get back together at some point in the future. But as of right now, yeah, she's probably gonna start rocking with this guy and act a fool, and then something is gonna happen as a result of that stupid ass, you know, relationship that she's probably gonna, you know, again, end up building with that guy. So I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope that Will and Lisa can get back together in the future. So little Ashley. So I never really talked about her as far as season 1 is concerned, because I didn't like what they were doing with her character at all, and they were really trying to pander and tokenize her character, and it's almost worse because she's a little kid, so they shouldn't really be doing that. Now I will say that the whole Ashley and Ashley thing, I think that was a little bit too forced. I don't think that they should have kind of paired them up together, because I understand that you're gonna bring Tatiana Ali back on the show to, you know, like as a homage to the first Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but at the same time, it's just like y'all doing that, it just seems like y'all forcing it too much. And you know, I mean, the more that I think about it, her character doesn't really have anything going for herself, really. Like, because it was like she, in season 1, she like didn't know if she was straight or not, and then the girl that what she was trying to holla at was like so Ashley pulls up to the little girl, and she was trying to, like, you know, make a move, and then turns out the little girl liked Will. So like whatever it is that they're trying to do with her character, it's like her character is there just to like push an agenda rather than her being a character in her own right. And I think, again, they need to let little Ashley be Ashley. Like, let her be a character and build her up, but don't use, you know, like you know, some, like, you know, Black Lives Matter, you know, shit, or some, you know, rainbow shit to try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, let her be her. Like, if she is that way, fine, but let her be that way organically. Don't like make it seem like it's just forced and injected into her character to serve some kind of purpose. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't need to be served on a show like this, because Bel-Air has a lot of potential. And I think they, again, shouldn't let it be distracted by other pandering BS. Geoffrey. You know, I think Geoffrey, I think he's trying to be more than the Banks family concierge and butler and stuff like that. Because he was using Uncle Phil's computer to do something, and then once Uncle Phil came in the room, he pulled like the Batman stealth move and then was on the completely different opposite side of the room by the time Phil walked in. Now I think he's trying to connect with his son or maybe his family or something like that. But I think what Geoffrey needs to do, he needs to stop lying and stop hiding stuff. I think when you're more open and you're honest about whatever it is that you're doing, then people will support what you're doing. But if you're hiding it, it's just going to create problems, because Uncle Phil and Geoffrey, they already had a falling out in freaking, you know, season 1. And when Geoffrey wasn't there, a lot of shit fell apart. So I feel like Geoffrey really needs to stop, you know, doing what he's doing in secret, and then just be open. Be like, yo, I'm trying to find my son. I'm trying to reconnect with my family, or whatever he's trying to do. You know? So that's my thoughts on Geoffrey, really, you know, saying, for the most part. I'm not sure if I'm missing. Jazz. I'll say I really like Jazz's character. I still think he's too short for Hilary. You know, and he's blessed because they gave him, he got to kiss Karrueche on fucking screen, and then right after that, he got to freaking kiss Hilary, Coco Jones, on screen. I was watching that shit. I was like, yo, this dude is blessed. I was like, this actor, I don't know his name in real life, but he seems like a cool dude. I was like, yo, homie is blessed, because not so many actors get to do that shit. You know, so shout out to him. But one thing I do like about his character is that he's like he balances out Hilary in a sense. So it's like when Hilary kind of gets too caught up in her social media career thing and stuff like that, and, you know, is in Ivy's shadow and stuff, he's the one that balances her out and brings her back to reality, and he grounds her in a sense, because, I mean, you know, Jazz is that short, so it's easy for him to keep her grounded, because, you know, he's not that far from the ground, you know what I'm saying? And he's a good friend. I think he's a good wingman to Will and stuff like that. So I always like this character. So shout out to Jazz. And I will say Ivy. I just think Karrueche is just, like, you know, very attractive. She's really cute, and I just like watching her on screen. You know, I mean, there's not much to say other than, you know, whatever Hilary is going on with her. But yeah, Karrueche, I think she's really cute. She's attractive. Yeah, you know, I just don't have a lot to say, because I'm just thinking about how pretty she is and how she's got a nice body and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, so that's my thoughts on Bel-Air up until this point. I'm going to do my best to be consistent as far as when the episodes drop, so that way I don't have to get, you know, backtrack and get all caught up, so I can just talk about each specific episode rather than trying to jumble everything all up into one. But anyway, I hope you made it to the end of this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Good luck.